Hello, dreamers. Welcome. It's your guide, Zach, and today we're talking about 7 beginner beliefs to live by until you die, which is a bit hyperbolic, but not really. A bit of a hyperbole, but also not, I don't think. Haven't gotten there yet. I'll let you know if I can communicate from the other side. Whole different kind of podcast, y'all. Whole different YouTube as well. I hope you get something out of this. I hope you take away some actions from what we're about to talk about. If you do, please share this. Every like, comment, share adds up. And really, if you find value, like send this to someone else who is struggling or has just started on their path that you think could really use to hear some of these things, especially these 7 beginner habits. They are things that I wish I had heard and actually incorporated and believed myself when I first started off. These are things that I'm still struggling with today. They're reoccurring principles that I have to keep reaffirming. And as I come upon new challenges, these things take place. So if you think someone would benefit from hearing this, don't hesitate to share, because the more people that we can support as a whole, the more dreams that will come into reality and the better the world will be at a faster place. And, at the end of the day, together we can all rise, and why not? So let's jump right in. First and foremost, it's not personal. And this is about being detached emotionally from the work. And that's not to say that you can't love the work, but you need to have a bit of attachment in that this isn't your baby. It may feel like that, but it's not. This is your dream. This is something that is sacred to you, but this isn't life and death. And as you go forward, especially, and you get more recognition for what you're doing, people start noticing that you're starting to dedicate time because you'll be at a different frequency. They'll start commenting, and it'll feel like they're commenting, especially negative comments around, like, oh man, you've really changed. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, you're just not spending time. You're not hanging out as much. Like, we don't see you around these days. And it may feel like a personal attack. And on some level it is, but you have to realize that a lot of this is coming from other people's insecurities and projecting outward upon you. Because as you start to dedicate time and energy and put your dream first and foremost in your life and prioritize that, people either at a conscious or subconscious level start to question, well, man, if they can do that, why can't I? What's my dream? Why did I give up on my dream? Like, why can they have that and I can't? And so it'll feel like people are personally attacking you, but they're not. So especially in writing for me, like when I first started a critique group back in 2019, I was very fortunate to be part of a critique group during the pandemic, which was like socially saving for my dream and my mental health as well. I was living out of town at the time at the ranch, like very isolated, very lonely, as many of us can relate during the pandemic. And when we first started, like, I was just beginning to write. This is the first time I was writing creatively, and I'd never written anything like this before. I've never even really written like this before at all. My background was in business and accounting. So like doing epic fantasy and writing about what I thought was that novel at the time was about orcs and reincarnation and, breaking free of the bronze of society as well as historical bonds that were holding us back to fulfill and step into who we really were. Um, it felt like I was being personally attacked about, when all my partners were giving their opinions on how to make the story better. And it still felt like a personal attack. But when I was able to detach and be like, my dream and the work on the page is not who I am, and they're not attacking my dream. What they are giving me is data. They're giving me opinions. And it's my choice to either accept those or not. And the determining question is, does that make the work or the dream better? Does it make the dream come about faster? Does it actualize the dream faster? If it's no across the board and all of that, then you don't need to take that, because at the end of the day, it is an opinion, it is a data point, but you can't listen to, you can, but do you really want to listen to people that actually haven't ever worked on their dreams, that actually haven't actualized their dreams themselves? When you're taking opinions from people and you're like, well, actually, what was your dream? Have you accomplished that or not? And they're like, well, no, I'm like doing this stuff to, pay the bills and take care of my family, which there's nothing wrong with at all. But then you're like, well, why am I placing more value on their opinion than on the value of guarding my dream and protecting my dream, and my own opinion of putting myself and my dream first, so that way I can serve others at a higher level? So, this isn't life and death, but don't you dare let anyone kill your dream, especially in its infancy, especially in its infancy. And this is something that, as you're just starting out, like, it's awesome to share with people who are open and understanding, who are compassionate and caring and can relate and will be supportive of you. But you don't need to share it with the entire world at that point. There's a lot of angry and bitter people for justified and not so justified reasons. And so I would say, in the infancy of not only working on your dream and stepping into this new reality of yourself and this new story and this new mindset and building these new habits, but protect that dream, especially in the infancy. And then later you can expand that circle of feedback to get more opinions, because you'll build resiliency, you'll build competence, which leads to confidence. So that when you do get harsh feedback from someone, you can be like, nah, that's actually not valid at all. That would completely change the story and not do what I want the story to do and what the characters want to do with the story. That would make the story not my own. And it actually isn't good advice, So just remember, it's not personal. So second, be an avid learner, capable of change and growth. And this is that beginner mindset that we talked about a little bit. This is about being an avid learner. So everything that you're doing, be open to learning, be open to constructive feedback. Not everyone knows how to deliver that tactfully. God knows that I can be a little harsh and come across harsh to my own critique partners at times, as well as other people in my life. Tact is something I'm very much, and delivery is something I'm very much working on, because it's very personal and unique to individuals as you work across different mediums and in different careers. So just think about being a beginner mindset. And what that really is thinking about, what can I learn from this? What can I take away from this? What can I use from this lesson to grow my dream, to accelerate my dream, to make my dream better? So it's about thinking about this as an aggregation of marginal gains. So you're slowly stacking these lessons one on top of another. And by the end, it's kind of like a Jenga tower. And you have this huge, amazing tower, and you're like, man, it didn't really feel like that in the beginning, but yeah, I have become a pretty confident and competent writer. I have become a pretty good entrepreneur. I have become pretty great at, pitching and DMing and direct selling people in their inbox or in DMs, or, I have really become good at my job, and organizing and doing Excel sheets and stuff like that. So it's about, instead of taking everything personally, it's about, what's the lesson you can learn and you can apply going forward. And, something I really took a lot for this and that really hit home for me, because I'm very much a big numbers guy and I love graphs. So James Clear, Atomic Habits, which we'll do a book review in the next couple of months. So he talks about this idea of 1% better each day compounded over a year. And you're like, 1% better. So tomorrow I'm 101%. The day after I'm 102.1%. And it doesn't sound like that much, right? But here's the thing about when you compound learning, you're not growing by 1% increments anymore. If y'all know anything about compound interest, it's stacking things on top of each other. So you're not growing on the first day, you grow by 1%. On the second day, you grow by 1.01. See, we're going down the line, it's 1.05. then it's 2%, then it's 3%. So by the end of a year, if you're learning and in this mindset of, what are the lessons I can learn, where, based on the situation and these circumstances and these challenges that arose today, what can I do better next time? What systems can I put in place? How can I set myself up for success next time? Whether that is the water, whether that is the fan, whether that was going to the restaurant and getting some snacks in between YouTube videos, whether that is like right now, if y'all watched the previous one, obviously if you're on podcast, you won't be able to see, but I'm wearing the same shirt that I am in episode 2. And it's not because I just wear this shirt every single day, although I do love the shirt and I don't have a lot of shirts. That's the whole minimalist lifestyle is a choice. I like it because less stuff is enjoyable for me and works for me, but it's because I'm practicing batching videos. And so what that means is I'm drafting 2 or 3 episodes during the week. And then one day on the week, I'm recording all the episodes back to back to back to back. So that way I'm batching them all together. So that way, every time I shoot a video, I'm not having to reset, reclean the background, go ahead and get the fan going, get some water, get in that mindset, review everything. No, it's like, this is time to shoot videos. I'm in it. Let's go. I'm firing. I'm in flow. I'm moving with it. And so this idea of 1% better each day is just stacking these little lessons. It could be something as easy as, if I'm working out, I'm putting my gym bag in my car with my workout gear already and an extra change of clothes so that way I can shower at the gym. So that way when I get home, I can immediately show up for my family, right? Or maybe it's like, I'm like being a big morning guy. I love getting up early in the morning. At night, I'm preparing my first breakfast of the day the night before. So that way when I wake up, I can do my little morning routine. I can go into the kitchen. I can grab my porridge with PB Fit and oats and berries. I can sit down at my desk. I can start journaling. I can prep my day, and then I can be writing from the time I wake up to starting writing in the morning, 25 minutes flat, sometimes 15 minutes, because I've set myself up for success. But that was a 1% learning. And then it's about stacking these things. So by the end of the year, you're not just 100% better because of compounding gains. You are 37 times better than when you started from 1 year ago. And so just think about this. Like, you can choose to look at everything as an opportunity to learn, to grow, to be better, or you can choose to use it to validate why you're not good enough, why you haven't started working on the dream, why. We've all been down that road of whys and excuses and obstacles and challenges, not to invalidate any of those, because, life is hard. There are things that are outside of our control that we have to dedicate time to and that we have to react to. But the idea is taking every single one of those as a learning opportunity to just make yourself a little bit better each and every single rep of the day. So that way we know where we're going, and let's try something new together and stack these lessons. All right, third, use your strengths to your advantages, leverage. So whether it's time, money, interests, passion, other skills and habits that you already have going for you. If it's, I want to be healthy and being super fit this year, maybe your strength is that you live close to a gym with group classes or just a gym. And you know what? You can walk there, or you work near a gym, or you live next to a health food store. Well, hell, that's a strength. Use that to your advantage. If it's time, so you're at a space and point in your life where you have a lot of free time. And if you think you don't have a lot of free time, I would challenge you to open up your phone. We can do this together because I actually don't remember how to do this, and I'd be curious to see my own. So if you have an Apple phone, open up your phone, go to settings, go to screen time, I think so. Screen time, app limits, downtime. I don't think it's see all activity. Oh, sweet. Okay. So we went to settings on the phone. Can you see this? All right, settings on the phone. We can go to screen time. We can go to see all activity. And then it'll show you by week how much time you are spending on different things. And these are limits I have. So total screen time, 3 hours, 28 minutes. If you scroll down, it'll show you what you've been using the most. So WhatsApp, Spotify, messages, growth day, to-do list, mail, notes. But here's some crazy stats for y'all. The average Americans out there who are listening and seeing this, and if you're in the future watching this, I hope to God, Baby Yoda, whatever you worship or believe in or not even believe in, that it's less. But the average American currently in 2020, the stat was as of 2022, is spending 2.5 hours consuming, so not creating, not using to research or anything, just consuming social media and TV passively in zombie mode. 2.5 hours. So you wonder, like, well, Zach, yeah, that's 2.5 hours. That's how I wind down at the end of my day. Scientific journals and studies have proven that consuming social media and watching TV leads to low to moderate stress levels. So you're actually not winding down. And especially like me, if you're in a job where you stare at computer screens all the time, because I'm some person who loves to write on the computer in Word documents and stuff. That's just what works really good for me. If you're one of those long-handed people that write things out, love that for you. Maybe I'll give it a shot one day. Sure, why not? Give it a test. But you already spend so much time on screens, and so you're actually already compounding stress on yourself. You're actually not alleviating stress. And if you have 2.5 hours a day and that's your wind down time, well, no wonder you don't have time to work on your dreams. Because here's a crazy stat. If you free up 1 hour a day, so instead of spending 2.5 hours consuming or watching TV, which the average American does, if you free up 1 hour a day, 7 hours a week, over the course of a year, it's like 365 hours. So let's take out the weekends, which 52 weeks, 2 days there. So really it's 52, 5, 250. So let's say it's 250 hours. That 250 divided by 8 is about 31, 32, 32, 30. Let's call it 31. You would have 31 days, 31 8-hour work days that you could commit to your dream. Let me repeat that one more time. If you free up 1 hour of your day, Monday through Friday, not even talking about the weekends, you can have the weekends. If you free up 1 hour of your day every single day and dedicate to working on your dream, that equates to, over the course of a year, 31 days of 8-hour work days. That's an entire free month that you could work on your dream, or you could actually spend time working on that side hobby, building that passive income stream, spending more time with your kids, dedicating time to those hobbies and passions you really care about. So just think about, what strengths do you have? And when I talk about the strengths of money, it's not, the strengths of money allows you to delegate and hire on and acquire skill sets as well as education. So that way you can onboard. So let's say, for example, you want to start a YouTube channel. Well, if you have the money and capacity financially to do so, you can either start one of two ways. You can either start launching a bunch of YouTube videos and kind of figure it out on your own, piecemealing here and there, learning from what free sources you can. Or if you have the money and financial capacity, you could go sign up for Ali Abdal's part-time YouTuber Academy and program, which I think is a couple $1,000s. And you can immediately leverage your money, which is a strength, to enhance and multiply your capacity and your education, so that way you can start seeing more results quicker and you can launch your dream a lot faster. So these are things to think about as far as use your strengths to your advantage, like leverage. Next, we're talking about don't worry about the results, and this is patience. So really, you want to stay focused in the beginning about building the correct habits and systems. So we're habit and system focused, not worried about success, not worried about getting rich, not right now. But we're worried about having fun and learning and being consistent. And so like success, getting rich, having the million followers, those are all what we call lagging indicators. So they're called lagging because there's something that come down the line. So we can't see them right now. You think about your eyesight, your eyes are cast down. All we can see right now as far as results is what's right in front of us. Everyone's wants to have 1 million followers. We want to be, Instagram famous immediately. We want to have 10 million in the bank. We want to have the passive income stream that's delivering us, 6 figures every single month without having to work on it. Well, all those are lagging indicators of doing the work and building the correct habits and building the correct systems and building the correct product, doing the work up front that will lead to all those things coming down from upstream. And so next we're talking about being consistent. And this is about the habits, really. This is about building momentum and sustaining it by whatever means necessary. And this is where, we kind of talked about calendar reminders in the last one. We talk about setting alarms on your phone, setting a time of day where, every morning for me, first thing when I wake up in the morning, that's when I write. And that habit for writing, I applied to that after initially in high school. I wanted, senior year, I was like, I want to be a collegiate swimmer. Never really, I had a pool, very privileged to have a pool. And, I like being in the water. I liked recreationally swimming. I was like, I want to be a swimmer. So every single morning, 4 a.m., I'd wake up, I would drive to a 5:15 practice an hour away before school started. Not safe at all, especially if any of y'all know San Antonio traffic that early in the morning. But yeah, so I built this habit. And by doing so, I built this momentum and I sustained it. And I started seeing these results of, I didn't eat differently, but my body started changing. I started being a lot leaner and healthier and had better definition and motion tone, and my energy felt better. I felt better about my day, about my life. My confidence rose up. All these endorphins and adrenaline were firing early in the morning. So it's about figuring out that time of day that you can leverage to build momentum and sustain it. So, whether that's at lunch breaks or before work, when I first started writing, I had this 9 to 5. And I would go to work at 5 a.m. And I would write first thing in the morning before my job started at 8. I'd go in early, I'd sit down and I'd spend a couple hours writing. And usually, at that point, there were a lot of distractions and things. I let myself go and didn't write as much as I would now. But, by doing that, I built this momentum that was sustainable, and that really allowed me to refine and hone my habits and my systems to where now I write first thing in the morning, 3.5, 4 hours, Monday through Friday, and usually a couple hours every day over the weekend. So whether it's at your lunch break, whether it's after school and after the kids go to bed and you take an hour or take a 2. And the idea is, the reason why it's important building momentum and sustaining it is because consistency delivers results. It delivers learning opportunities so that you start aggregating these learnings over time. And so, we can talk about the aggregation of marginal gains, just like the 1%, better over each day compounded over a year. So, this idea of aggregation of marginal gains was this concept made famous by the British cycling coach, Dave Brailsford. who led the British cycling team to 10 gold medals at the 2008 Beijing Olympics. Before this, team had no significant wins whatsoever, but his philosophy and his approach was, we're going to look at every single thing within British cycling team, and we're going to make 1% gains on everything. And the idea is the aggregation of marginal gains is the same as the 1% better each day. By learning how to tweak and make efficiencies in our day and have these 1% gains, you're able to have this huge aggregation of when you add all these things or aggregate all these things together, you're 37 times better, you're 50 times better. And so this is the idea that led the British cycling team to 10 gold medals in 2008. And it's the same thing you can apply to your life. And, the same thing as taking massive action, but it doesn't have to be, burn both ends, of the candle, like work nonstop, it doesn't have to be all aggro and all the time. If that works for you, great. I love that. Is it sustainable? I don't know. Is it healthy? Well, it depends on what you're willing to sacrifice, to advance your dreams. And hopefully those are your dreams. But this idea of massive action, well, massive action, whether it's 10 hours one day a week, or it's, an hour and a half every single day, or if it's 10 minutes every day, when you compound things over a long enough time horizon, that equals massive action. So think about being consistent, whatever that looks like, whether it's going walking 5 minutes every single day, whether it is showing up and doing writing first thing in the morning for 5 minutes, whatever your dream is, build that consistency and start smaller than you think. And this isn't like a limiting belief, because the idea here is to build momentum and build the habit in and then expand it from there. Like I used to be like, I'm going to go write for 4 single hours. And if I didn't write for 4 hours, I would be mad at myself. I would, be discouraged. I would be tore up about it. I'd feel worthless. But when I changed the habit to, all right, why did I think I could take this massive action, which is completely shifting everything in my life, when I haven't even built up the tiny habits? So start small and then expand from there. Build on the success that you already have. Build a solid foundation for which to launch yourself where you want to go and take your dreams forward. And this next idea we're talking about is quantity over quality in the beginning. So if you're writing a book, unless you're editing that book 100 times in the beginning, then it's going to serve you 9 times out of 10 to write 10 books start to finish than editing that first book 100 times. Because the idea is the more you do something, the quicker you learn and the quicker you reiterate and the quicker you turn over and create new products in that same thing, the more you can enhance those and take that and make it a more viable product. So the first book that you write will look nothing like the 10th book. And this is the parable of the pottery class, or, the photography class. And the idea is, the parable goes something like this, that there's a class of pottery students. Let's make it writers, because I'm a writer. I love writing. So it's a writing class. The instructor divides the class in half. They say, on this left side, you students are going to figure out how to write the perfect short story. And you just have to create one short story in the next 30 days. Perfect short story. The other 30 students, the instructor is like, y'all are going to create a short story every single day. So you're going to create 30 short stories. And by the end, you're going to turn in the best short story. And what they find out is, for the most part, the students who had to create 30 short stories, who had to prioritize quantity over quality, had a better, more significant, and more excellent idea and final product than those who just focused on quality, because there's something to be said for getting to the end and then reiterating and starting with a new idea, then starting with a new idea, taking that into the end. You learn more by going through the entire process to the end than by just being stuck on one single thing and trying to edit and polish and edit and polish and edit and polish. You kind of stay in this little loop and you don't really travel anywhere. But if you're doing 30 on top of each other, you're like looping up, kind of looping up here, like re-looping up here, looping up, looping up, going way up here and figuring it out as you go. So think about quantity over quality and get that feedback loop working to your advantage. And if you don't know what the feedback loop is, Google it, because we're moving on. So the next one is, it's okay to be ambitious, to want more, to be hungry. So if you're kind of a glass half full or half empty, who cares? You're half of what you should be is the point of the story. When I hear it, I'm like, wait, why do we just have to be half? And also, I don't want to be a glass. I want to be, a cask or a barrel or the ocean. If you were happy and fulfilled and living the life you wanted, you wouldn't be watching and figuring out about actualizing your dreams. Like it is okay to want more, to be hungry, to be like, yeah, this isn't the life I want. I want to have more freedom to spend time with my family. I want to have more freedom to do the things I really want and be paid for them. I want to be able to travel the world. It's okay to be ambitious, to want more, to be hungry. So be ambitious, like be bold in the dreams that you want to accomplish. Because here's my thing. You can dream about anything. There's absolutely nothing wrong with about dreaming that. So why wouldn't you dream to the fullest of your potential and beyond? Because even if for some reason we fall short of that, you're still way up here instead of just dreaming about something down here. So dream big, be bold, be ambitious. It's okay to want more and it's okay to be hungry. And last but not least, just do it. And this comes down to just being proactive, just starting, like noticing, wanting, doing, like just start doing it, whatever that is. Like be the verb, start working on it right now. Don't watch another YouTube video. Don't listen to another podcast. Just go and do it. Because in the end, it will be more worthwhile than anything. I can't tell you that it's not going to be hard. It's not going to be challenging. It will be. But here's the thing. Life is supposed to be challenging. It's supposed to be hard. That's how we grow. That's how we become more than ourselves yesterday, today, so we can be better tomorrow as well. So if we're going to have to face obstacles and challenges, which we all do, no matter if we're working on our dreams or not, why wouldn't you want to face the obstacles and challenges along the path towards realizing your dream? So just do it. Just do it right now. Pause this video. Don't listen anymore. Don't listen to the podcast and just start doing it right now. So next week, tune in for another episode. We're going to explore how to win the day by 9 a.m., before you start that typical 9 to 5, and why that simple rule will change your life, career, your relationships, and everything else. Thank y'all for being here and dedicating some time to this video. And as always, if y'all got something out of this, would love to hear what works for y'all, things that I didn't speak about at all. I'd love to hear about things y'all are interested in, curious about, want to hear more about. Pop some comments below, like and share the video if y'all got something out of this, and think someone else would as well. And as always, thank y'all for pursuing your dreams so that we can work together to make the world a better place today.